80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. And that's really what AI and along with human touch points can do and has done for me and also could do for you is how do you ensure that your business can be constantly in your tone and in your voice, but without you there? And that's really where the AI comes into play. And when you pair that with humans, it really can go very, very fast and very, very far. Welcome back to the Better Than Rich Show. I'm Mike Abramowitz, and I'm taking you through a series over these last couple of episodes as I've been talking and speaking to a lot of different business professionals and groups, but specifically been talking to a lot of real estate agents and real estate professionals recently and real estate investors. So I've crafted a message specifically geared towards that audience, but a lot of business owners are truly benefiting from this content as well. And what I've been peeling back is this concept of elevating real estate with AI, tech, and flow-driven processes. And we've already kind of done an overview in a former episode, and then we also did a full time audit in another episode as well. Today, I want to dig in a little bit more specifically into the AI piece. And I think AI is one of those things that sometimes gets a little confusing for individuals because everyone thinks it's like a trend or it's going to die down or, I'll adapt later. You know, it's interesting. There's a really good book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And he talks about in the book, there's like this bell curve. And the first individuals on the bell curve is a very small percentage, but those are the innovators. And the innovators are the individuals who, like, they already have an iPhone, but when the new one comes out, they're going to wait in line to get the iPhone, right? Like, they're the ones first in line. They're willing to do it right away, no questions asked. And what happens is from those innovators, there is the early adopters. The early adopters see the innovators and they say, it seems like they're onto something. I'm going to go ahead and join the fun with these innovators. So those are the people that say, oh my gosh, so many people are getting this new iPhone. I guess I should get this iPhone too. So those are the early adopters. What happens is the early adopters and the innovators are what creates the marketplace's movement for the early majority to then come on board. And then the early majority comes on board and now it's a whole new thing. Now everyone's like, oh my God, this is the new hot commodity. Everyone needs to get it. Then there's the late majority and then there's like the laggards. And a good example with this would be like, remember the flip phones? Back in the day, we used to have just a regular flip phone. And the flip phone was perfect. It was exactly what it was supposed to do for making a phone call, other than like playing Snake on it, right? So good for making a phone call. The texting, you click the number like 3 times to get to the one letter. Like, it wasn't really great for texting. But then the smartphone came out. And using this little bell curve example, it was like the new smartphone came out. I don't know about you, but I was kind of like a late majority to a smartphone. I thought it was like, that's cool, but like, that's not for me, right? Like, I don't want to spend all that money for something I don't need. Like, I don't need, it was accessible. It was like, I don't need to have all that stuff accessible to me. It was just too much. I'm not going to use that. Like, if I need a calculator, I'll just go to my calculator. If I need a camera, I have a nice camera. I don't need it on my phone. Like, that's crazy. That's a little bit over the top. But what happens is, as soon as, for me at least, and most people, when they start using that smartphone device and seeing other people and seeing its functionality, they're like, wow, this has made life so much easier. It didn't replace the cell phone. We could still make a phone call from the smartphone. It just had all these extra features. It has GPS, a calculator, social media. You have a camera on there. You could send text messages with ease. You could download apps and all these cool features and functionalities where if someone had to go back to just using a flip phone and just making phone calls, it would be almost impossible because they've seen the possibilities of what a smartphone can do for them. And that's really what AI has done for me and for our students and operator to owner, our clients using our AI informed virtual assistants, and a good majority, the early majority in the marketplace right now who are using AI. It has been transformative. It hasn't replaced the cell phone. It hasn't replaced creative thinking. It hasn't replaced humans. What it has done, it's allowed a human to amplify how much they could bring, how much value they could bring to the marketplace in a more efficient time. It's like I could go into the GPS and put in my address and the destination, and boom, it gives me the address and it shows me a map to get there. Compare that to stopping at the gas station, buying a map, asking the gas station attendant where I am on that map, and drawing like with a highlighter the route that I'm supposed to take. It's the same like map and road. It's just how much more easy and efficient and effective is the tool of a GPS. That's what AI is. It makes it so much easier for you to get perfect results in a seamless and efficient amount of time, and amplify what's possible for your experience. So some of the things that we've been doing with AI for our students specifically, we've been using it for content creation, for like a social media content calendar. We've been using it to help create SOPs, position descriptions. We've been using it for creating topic ideas, engaging posts, tone analyzer, market research. We've been using this thing really to revolutionize what it means to be in business. It is really fantastic. So I wanted to go through a couple of specifics today on this episode of what you can do if you're a real estate professional or just in business, what you could do, and some use cases for using AI. So the first, as far as the social media content calendar, one of the things that's really cool is we have one of our students, Holly, who used this for her social media marketing. And you could go into ChatGPT and say, help me create a social media content calendar. But first, before I could do that, ask me questions of what I should be asking myself in order to create an effective 30-day social media content calendar. So then ChatGPT will go and ask you all these questions. Then you go in, answer all these questions. And then it's like, based on my answers to those questions, can you create a social media content calendar for me? And then, and it's like, can you put that in a chart form for the next 30 days? And then it creates this 30-day social media content calendar. And if you want to add, a mix of different platforms to post it on, you can put that in there. If you want to put different like call to actions and value adds, text boxes, personal stories, testimonials, you could put those in there. And if you want to have a certain amount of words for each post, you could put that in there. If you want to have optimized hashtags, you could ask them to put that in there. It's really wild on what you can do. And especially when you have a team of AI informed staff members and virtual assistants to do this for you, it makes it that much better. And really, you could go through a lot of those tasks on the previous episode that we recorded on those under your target dollar per hour wage activities and really leverage a team. And of course, you could find your own, but you can go to our website and our service is va.betterthanrich.com, and you could check out our services. We would love to have a conversation with you, and that's VA as in virtual assistant .betterthanrich.com. So va.betterthanrich.com, and check it out. And if we can help, we would love to. But regardless of our team or your team, having them informed with AI is really been a game changer. Another thing you could do with AI is using what is called a tone analyzer. So a tone analyzer will help them help them learn your tone. So for me, I have 9 books. I have I have blog articles. I have a lot of social media content, lots of talks that I've given, lots of podcast episodes, transcriptions of those. So taking all of that content, putting into an AI tool and asking it, I'm going to give you all this writing. I want you to tell me what type of tone and style this type of writing and this type of voice is in. And then it will analyze all of that language and create a tone. Like, that's my tone. Sometimes I use profanity. Sometimes it's casual. Sometimes it's, sounds like I'm a really handsome, good looking, smart, funny man. Like, it's pretty spot on. I'm just kidding. But so we'll give a tone. And now that we have a tone, it's like, great, respond to this comment on Facebook in this tone as Mike. So that way I can see someone comment on a post of mine that says, I'll get comments that say something like, hey, thanks, that was really great content. I really loved how you talked about blank in your post. So I will put in Mike's tone, or my assistant will say, in Mike's tone, respond to this in under 160 characters. So that way it doesn't ramble. Boom, in my tone, copy, paste, boom, and then can respond to comments on my social, especially when I was on a 3-week road trip with my family. I was completely unplugged, but because I went on vacation, didn't mean that my social media had to go on vacation with me. So things don't necessarily have to stop, because AI was able to learn my tone, and it can learn yours as well. So think about what that could do for emails. Especially if you're a real estate professional or a professional in general, and a prospect or a client is emailing you, and you're like, gosh, I have 200 emails in my inbox. Imagine what it would look like if someone can work as you, for you, and it doesn't have to be by you. So you're not the ones that has to actually respond to these. It could be in your tone. Somebody else on your team or a virtual assistant can use AI in your tone, respond to those emails. What if you wanted to create a blog in your tone and add value to your current clients or your prospects or individuals in your CRM? Hey, what are the top 20 trending topics right now in real estate or in your industry? Those are the topics. Great. Go ahead and write a blog article in my tone in under 250 characters or 250 words about each of these topics, adding at least 3 bullet point takeaways, summaries, and some sort of call to action at the end for them to send me an email letting me know that they would love to have a conversation. And then they put that in the blog, and then they have an email that goes out and with a calendar link in there with a Calendly, and then it just clicks the Calendly, it syncs to your calendar, and an AI VA can communicate all of this on your behalf, and then boom, prospects just pop on your calendar. So imagine you have a team like calling the MLS for you and calling these prospects, but imagine if there was also on the back end someone doing some sourcing, like producing content for you, as you, just not by you, creating content on social media, sending it to your email list. Maybe you're speaking on podcasts and you're driving people to a lead magnet. These are things that we teach in our operator to owner course of like, how do you create a lead magnet? How do you create a social media campaign? How do you build a CRM? How do you build your own personal brand? Because frankly, a lot of real estate agents work for a brokerage, and that's great. Some of them even have a team leader. That's great. So what happens is the agent loses their own brand identity. So I understand what it means to work in Keller Williams, or I understand what it means to be a part of Blank's team, but what does it mean to do business with me? If I want to have 20, 50, 100 transactions a year, what does it mean to have me as your agent? What makes me different? What is my differentiator? So those are a couple of the things that we teach in our operator owner course and our coaching program of like how you can become different in the marketplace. How can you create lead magnets, a brand, drive traffic to that brand? How do you leverage team and tech to build that for you? So all of that happens and can be a lead generator for you while you're doing everything else that you're already currently doing. It's just accents it using AI, which is pretty wild, especially with the tone analyzer. What you could also do with AI is you could be much more efficient with brainstorming and drafting any type of proposals or invoices or any type of content or anything like that. I'll have a conversation with AI. It's like, make this better. It's like, use my tone to make this sound better. If I'm writing a proposal or an invoice or something like that, that truly has been awesome. I'll have brainstorming conversations with it. It's like, I'm looking to hire this type of person. What are the questions I should be asking myself? So using AI has been pretty amazing for that as well. There's a great book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time. And something he says is 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. And that's really what AI and along with human touch points can do and has done for me and also could do for you is how do you ensure that your business can be constantly in your tone and in your voice, but without you there. And that's really where the AI comes into play. And when you pair that with humans, it really can go very, very fast and very, very far. So this was that second point that I talked about. And when I speak live, if you brought me in or if you know someone that brought me in, I share my screen and I'll go through and pull up ChatGPT and show you some of these prompts. I even have a full workbook, a full ChatGPT workbook that's 25 pages that we created. It's really, really cool. And again, if you actually take the quiz on betterthanrich.com/quiz, it'll put you into a funnel. And in that funnel, you'll get a bunch of value add. You'll get workbooks and PDFs and videos. One of those value adds that we'll be hooking you up with is a ChatGPT workbook on the back end of that. So if you haven't taken the quiz, I highly recommend you to do so at betterthanrich.com/quiz. And then you answer 10 questions. And you might already know this. Many of you have already done this, but if you haven't yet, you take the quiz, answer 10 questions, great journal prompt questions too, to write down in a journal and reflect on if you ever get stuck on what to journal through. And then if you want to play full out, you go to our Facebook group, Automate, Delegate, Systemize, the Facebook group. You could also go into facebook.com/the Better Than Rich Show. It'll take you right to the Facebook group. Share your screenshot of your score. Share your screenshot of what type of business professional you are and strike up a conversation with the other 1,300 members that are in our community. We'd love to have you join. And again, it's a 100% free group. Love to just add value, a lot of content, great conversations, great community in that group. We'd love to have you join. So far in this little series, we talked about what it means to go from like an operator to an owner or an agent to a master specifically for real estate professionals, because it's a unique market right now. And I want to add value to this group because that's who I've been talking to recently. And we would love to continue the conversation. So we did the first part of the conversation was an overview. Then we did your time audit and figuring out what is your time worth? And then how can you leverage team and tech to buy back your time and then focus your time on the high value activities. Today, in this episode, we talked about how to harness AI, how to use AI to have a competitive advantage. And it's actually quite simple in the marketplace. And our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how to McDonaldify your business, how to create a business that really runs on itself. It's super simple and build a design that's really easy to duplicate. So it's going to be our next episode. So everyone, thank you so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And if you know anyone who could benefit from having me come and speak, they could just find me on social or send an email to mike@betterthanrich.com. So mike@betterthanrich.com. I'd love to be a guest on a show or speak to your community or speak on a Facebook Live or if you're here in the St. Augustine, Jacksonville area, I've been doing a bunch of meetups locally here and speaking live here. But ultimately, I'm here to serve. I'm on a mission to add as much value when it comes to buying back your time as possible. So if you feel like that could be beneficial, let us know. And till next time, as always, leave today better than you found it. Cheers. We'll see you soon.